Hello everyone, Helen here. I'm back again at last. Seems so long since I last chatted to you. I think, well really, the last time I properly chatted to you was at the end of November. And then we had Vlogmas and then I had visitors and I wasn't well. And so here we are in the middle of January already. So anyway, welcome back if you've been here a few times before. And a big welcome if you're new, because there've been a few new subscribers recently. So really lovely to have you along. I hope you're going to enjoy spending a bit of time here with me. So thank you everybody for all the get well messages last week. It really was lovely. And it did help make me feel a bit better. And I know I didn't really need to put out a podcast last week, but I just I'd sort of already more or less put those bits of video and photos together, and I was going to put them at the end of my chatty podcast, so I decided just to put that out, and then you would know I was still there and that I'd be seeing you soon. So anyway, I'm back again now, and so today really is mostly about all the things I kept telling you before Christmas that I would show you after Christmas, because I couldn't share everything with you then. And first of all, so I've got a couple of knitted projects that I was doing. I had Christmas gifts that I was making that I couldn't show you before Christmas in case it spoiled surprises for people. And what else? Yes, I had Christmas treat boxes that I hadn't opened. So a few things to show you and share with you. So there were a couple of knitted projects I was working on last time I spoke to you, which I hadn't finished. And the first one was another little Tsutsu bear, the Cynthia Valet pattern that I love so much. And she was the third bear that I was making. Decided it would be a little girl, and that she would be kind of a Christmas bear. And so I knitted her a little Christmas jumper, some warm socks. And when I decided that she should be called Mistletoe, I thought then that she absolutely needed to have a little headband with mistletoe in it. And I was really pleased with how that turned out. And she spent all of Christmas sitting inside a felt mistletoe wreath, not one that I made actually, but one that I bought, on top of my piano, looking very pretty. So you might have seen her on Instagram actually if you follow me there. But and also if you were very observant, you might have seen that she popped into the very last day of Vlogmas. She was peeping over the wall of the stable where my crocheted nativity was. So I wonder whether you spotted her there. So, and then the other knitted project that I hadn't quite started on, in fact, when I last spoke to you properly, and that was the Mystery Gnome Knit Along, the December Mystery Gnome Knit Along. So it was a special one that ran all through December. It was finished by the 24th of December, the knitted part was anyway. And so I think some of you who watched this have probably done that as well. But if you didn't, what happened was that for each day of December, a little bit of the pattern was released. And most days it was a bit of pattern. Sometimes it was part of a story which ran through several days. And sometimes it was a recipe. And actually there was one knitting pattern as well that was on one of the days. Anyway, I really loved doing it. Sometimes the things that you had to knit, it was obvious what they were going to be. So when you're knitting a beard, it's kind of obvious it's going to be a beard. I like the beard. It was a beard with integral nose. That was interesting. I haven't done that before. But some of the things weren't at all obvious. And the very first thing that we had to knit was this sort of rectangular cuboid thing. And I had no idea what that was going to be. And it turned out that it was going to be the backpack for the gnome. And the biggest surprise of all in this mystery knit along was that we ended up knitting a second gnome, a little one, a little baby one that went in the backpack. I absolutely love that. And it was just such a lovely thing to do. There wasn't too much to do each day, so I was able to keep up most of the time. And the only thing that held me back was actually I used the wrong colour. Yeah, I used the wrong colour yarn at one point, and so I had to redo that bit. Never mind, it's me not paying attention. I absolutely loved the yarn that I used. I purchased a set especially for the Mystery Gnome, not knit along, from Lucy Locketland, which I've just bought things from online and didn't realise that it's not very far from me at all. I think to drive there in the car would take maybe 20 minutes. So it was definitely on my list of things to do for this year, is to actually go to the shop. But anyway, it was absolutely beautiful yarn, really lovely, rich, Christmassy colours, and I was very happy with the whole thing. So it was lovely. And so, of course, I was quite excited that a couple of recipes came with this knit along as well. And exactly a week before Christmas, it was my birthday, and so I asked whether my husband might make one of the recipes for my birthday as a real treat, because it was some a popcorn recipe. And well, we don't eat popcorn very much, and as it turned out, we haven't had popcorn for a very long time, or haven't made it ourselves anyway, because so we started making the recipe, and there was just not much popping going on in the pan. I couldn't understand this, kept looking in, there was only the odd bit of popcorn. And eventually we looked on the packet, and well, I cannot tell you how many years out of date it was. It was quite old popping corn. Anyway, so we sort of set that aside and found an unopened pack of popcorn, which also was a few years out of date, but not as much out of date as the other one, and hadn't been opened. But that wasn't really very good at popping either. So it took us quite a long time to persuade enough of the popping corn to pop. Anyway, eventually we had enough, and then we had to do the sticky coating, which was, I think, was it a gingerbread caramel coating, I think it was. So obviously it had ginger in it, it had treacle in it, and it looked so delicious, hubbling and bubbling away in the pan. And then we had to coat the popcorn in it and then put it in the oven, and I think it was in the oven for about an hour. So it was quite a long process to make this. Anyway, it was really worth it. It was delicious. But I don't think I can actually give you the recipe for that, because I think it is still part of the paid pattern. So I better not do that, because I wouldn't be okay. So another thing I did in the run up to Christmas was join in with a daily watercolour painting challenge. It was creating a watercolour advent calendar, I suppose. And each day you just followed a little tutorial. This is on my favourite watercolour painting YouTube channel, the Dewinton Paper Co, with the lovely lady Harriet, who is so encouraging. I really love her tutorials. Anyway, each day there was a little tutorial for painting a little miniature picture of something relating to Christmas, and it took 10 to 15 minutes a day, and it was a really lovely calm time in the day. But right now I'm just going to go and quietly paint, and it was a very relaxing thing to do, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing it, and I think I had mixed success with my pictures. Some were better than others, but I'm going to show you them all another time, because all of the pictures that I did actually I stuck into my winter journal, which I started during December as well. So that's one thing I'm going to show you that another time, because that'll take a little bit of a while to show you. So so that was really lovely. And then another thing I couldn't show you before Christmas were the gifts that I was making for people, because obviously I didn't want to spoil surprises for anybody who might have been watching. And some of the things that I made actually you will have seen before if you've watched previous podcasts, because I made them earlier last year and then just put them away. But some of the things you didn't see at all because I just couldn't show them until after the people had received them. So I'm just going to put together just a very short video now of all the things that I made. Here we go. So one of the things that I said that I'd show you after Christmas were what was inside the Christmas boxes that I bought. And the first one was one from So Me on Etsy, and this was just a box of goodies. There weren't 24 things in it. It wasn't an advent box, but just a lovely assortment of things, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Though I have to say, I was almost as excited by the dissolvable pellets that things were packed in. I knew of their existence, but it was the first time I'd knowingly encountered non-polystyrene pellets, and I was so intrigued by it all that I thought I would actually video them. So hopefully you can see them now. I mean, what a great eco-friendly alternative to, polystyrene or styrofoam. I think they're made from some kind of starch, cornstarch maybe, and it just dissolves in water. And so putting it in the water in the sink, it just all went down the plug hole. I mean, I assume that it is all eco-friendly and it's not putting anything nasty into the water system, but yeah, I thought that was fascinating. Anyway, my Christmas box included some really lovely gifts. I'm not going to show you every single one, but I had this lovely Christmassy project bag, a little mini skein of yarn, which is called Christmas Cookie, and it looks really pretty. I think I'll probably use it to make a little jumper for the next toy that I make or something. I think it'll look really pretty. I got a gorgeous little tin in the shape of a cottage, although it took me a little while to get it open, but when I eventually got inside, I found it contained some Christmas jumper ribbon, or sort of tape. I don't know whether you call that ribbon or tape. Anyway, it's lovely. Of course, I got some chocolate treats and a thing for making some hot chocolate, some washi tape, some stitch markers, and a really lovely Christmas spice candle. And I also decided to save some of the wrappings to use later for journaling because it was just too lovely to throw away. And then the other box that I got was a Christmas Eve crochet box from Crafty Clegg Creations, and I was very good and I saved it until Christmas Eve. And so you can see here what a lovely collection of things came in it. There was, of course, some little extra treats and bits and bobs. And as well as that, all the materials that you needed for making a little Christmas teddy bear. And I did start making him on Christmas Eve, but with everything else going on, I didn't get very far. And so I've decided to set him aside as something to make in time for next Christmas. So yeah, I'm not sure when I'll pick him up again, but he's in a safe place, so I'll be able to make him for next Christmas. So anyway, that was quite a roundup of Christmassy pre-Christmas things to show you. And next podcast, I'm going to really spend a bit of time talking about projects that I've got on the go at the moment, which is quite a lot. Yeah, I have cast on and started any number of things, quite a lot of things. And I'll also share with you some of my plans for the new year and various ideas I've got of things that I want to be able to do. So yeah, I can look forward to that. So I'm going to finish today with popping into the kitchen. The second recipe that came with the Mystery Gnome knit along was for some cheesy shortbread biscuits. But again, because it's part of the paid pattern, I don't think I would be able to share the recipe with you. So I thought I would make something else cheesy instead. An old favourite of mine from my old favourite Biro book, some cheese straws. And so they're a really, really lovely, simple and tasty snack to make. I didn't have any of the mustard powder that's in the recipe, so instead I used some smoked paprika and some hot paprika, and that made a lovely alternative actually, so I can recommend that. And also, instead of using just plain cheddar cheese, which is what I would usually use, we had some hot and spicy Mexican cheddar, so again that made a really, really tasty snack there. So let's go off into the kitchen. Righto then, it is definitely time for me to go now. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I'll look forward to seeing you again ever so soon. So keep busy, take great care of yourself, and I'll be back soon. Okay, bye.